Hi, welcome to Introduction to Java Programming. In today's lecture, we'll look at class and object. Although this is very early when if we look at the course, but this is really an important concept. You have to understand it. Generally, in programming, like in order to write program, you only need how we can take input or output something using primitive variables, data types, if conditions, loops, which actually help you repeat a certain portion or certain instruction again and again, methods and function. That means combining the code into one method. A couple of them we have already discussed. Couple of them we'll explore in the future lectures. So uh, it's a difficult concept sometime, object and classes. That's why I would recommend to watch this video 2-3 times so that you fully understand what is the concept, why it is required. So in object-oriented programming, we just think about terms, things in the form of objects only. What is an object in real world? What actually is the object in real world? A material thing that can be seen and touched. So that's something physical. So whatever is physical is an object that has material. So a couple of example would be pencil. These things are objects for real world. What is a relationship between class versus object? What is the relationship? So if we look at this example, so human is a class where Maria, John, Halima, Sultan, all these are different objects of human class. Another example for animal, animal could be a class, almost same feature, like animals and humans are two different classes. So animal objects could be dog, lion, polar bear, monkey, and elephant. Another example could be vehicle. So vehicle is another class. This class is different from animal class. Do you know why? Because animal or human can breathe, but vehicles are non-living things and they can't breathe, but they are used to move from one place to another place. So motorcycle, car, jeep, trucks, and bus are the example. Another example could be electronics. So this is another class whose object could be TV, radio, iPhone, laptop. So all these are examples of electronics. So what is an object? We know a material thing that can be seen or touched, or physical thing. But in terms of programming, an object has states and behavior. States mean having attribute qualities. So in programming language, an object is actually a thing which occupies space in memory, that is RAM. So all the objects that are created in the Java programming language, they are created in a heap memory. You don't have to remember this, but all the objects are created in RAM or memory, and they occupy memory space. That's why you need bigger and bigger memories when you're playing games or when you're running heavy programs. They need lots and lots of RAM. So that's why you go for 4 GB, 8 GB, or 16 GB RAM. So all these objects are created in the RAM. So in Java programming language or in any programming language, objects are something which occupy memory space. That's why they are called objects or physical objects. Let's look at this example of animal. So an animal has a state. State could be name, color, age, or anything. So here we can see name Ben, this black 3-year-old. Its behavior is speak and move. And then there is another object. So this is one object with states and behavior. This is another object with states and behavior. So these two both are from the animal class. Okay, but the states could be different. Here the state is Ben, here the state is thunder. Here is the state is color black, here it's brown, it's 3, it's 10 years, and behaviors are the same. If they belong from the same class, the behavior could be the same one. So what do we think about this one? Like the behavior, its name is Ben and it barks and it runs. where here we see the behavior at neigh and gallop as a walk. So can we predict the name? Okay, so this object is basically a dog object because the attributes tells us, and this here is the horse object. These both objects are classified as animal, so animal is their class and here are their attributes. Okay, so dog is animal, horse is animal, they both are animals. So if we implement this code like in how we will write a class, basically the animal class. So here this is the way to create a class. We will look at it in later videos, but for here, just to understand for the basic thing, that's how a class look like. Public class animal, and here we got the states or attributes or fields. We can name them anything. So here one is name, age and color, and here is one method, action or behavior. Behavior is an action that can be performed on an object. So animal is one of the class. So speak and walk are two actions or behavior. So if we have to create two objects, so here is our class. We create first object, so animal dog is equal to new animal. So the new animal will create an object in the memory. As I explained that in programming language, objects are created physically in the main memory. So this will create the object in the memory and give us the reference here. I will explain that later, but in order to access that memory or to hold of that object, we need some reference. So dog is a variable, dog is an instance, dog can be called as object because it referred to really an actual object which is created by new class name. Now how do we put things in that memory, that area that is reserved? So dog dot name Ben, dog dot age 3, dog dot color. So this is referring to the memory space where this object was created. So we are putting everything in that memory, and when we call dog.speak, this function would be called automatically. So it prints name of the animal is speaking. So where is the name? Name is stored in the object in the memory state. Remember we discuss here. So we store the states, black and these behaviors. So there are two different objects with two different states. One is with these values, another is with these values. So when we call dog.speak, it will print this value. The name is whatever the state of that object is at the time. That's how we create another variable. You can name it anything. So here it makes sense for me to name them with the whatever the animal I'm trying to create. So here I created another object which will be created in the memory, and we will get the reference. So the horse will hold the reference to that memory space, and with the help of this reference we can put different values in that memory space like horse dot name, age and color. So that's how we fill those both memory spaces. So we have now two objects in the memory, and we have the references dog and horses to access that memory space, and then we can call different functions or behavior on it. So that's the difference between object and class. I would request to watch this video right from the beginning till this point and then proceed with the next example. Okay, so class is a template, class is a blueprint. So here in previously we discussed about animal is a classification, human is a classification, and vehicle or electronics, all these were classification. Classification could be template, it could be blueprint. So a human, so all these Maria, Halima, Sultan, all these are basically humans. So their template, their blueprint is same. They have the same classification. Similarly, if we talk about class is a template blueprint, so here is the map. So before actually building the different shop or houses or anything, we built the blueprint. That is a map which explain like how much width and height would be of certain part of the house, and then based on that we can build the actual house from them. So once this template is created or this blueprint is created, we can create as many objects or as many houses as we want. So this is a guideline, this is a helpline, and we always follow this thing. So it help us creating a physical object. This is right now on the paper. This is not physical mean in the materialistic form like the actual building, but this is on just on a paper. So when we look at this, so from one template we can build one house, from another template or from another class we can build another house. Similarly, many houses or objects can be built from one template. One template is class, so from one map we can build as many houses as we want, as many objects as we want. So this is now in physical form, so that's why we are calling objects, and the map on the paper is the class. So this class will always help us to create as many houses as we want. So this is the basic concept between them. So let's look at the another example. Do you know how many classes are there in aeroplane or when you fly? So basically there is one called economy class. It has got normal seats, maybe sometime it doesn't have a screen to watch something. Another class could be the business class, where you have a very luxurious seats and all these things. You can pull different screens, etc., and different feature. And then there is first class. So this is the most expensive and most luxurious class in aeroplane. So we have three classes. First is economy class, second is the business class, and third one is first class. So I hope this explained the concept of classes. That's differentiate. That differentiate due to many things. It could be differentiating based on the behavior. It could be differentiating based on the attributes it have, the functionality, or the luxury it provide. So here we look at the three different classes. For each class, we need a blueprint, the template, which will help us to create a certain class, a certain seat. So here is the blueprint, which is our class or the template, which will help us to build the seat for that. So if we look at here, so we have three blueprints, which mean three classes. So first class, the business class, and the economy class. Here is the first class, business class, or economy class. So we have three classes, so we will create three blueprints which help us how to build a seat, which also would require to build the mold and all these things. So from the first class I can create one first class seat, another first class, another first class, another first class. And from the business class I can create different seats in an aeroplane. So all these are business class. Each one of them is created from this blueprint. So that's why they are same. And each one of them are created from this blueprint. So that's why they are same. And similarly, we have an economy class. From this, we are creating all these seats. So all of them are objects, physical object that occupy space, and here it is the class. This is a code for them. This will help us to create the economy class. This will help us to create business class. So all these are objects that occupy space. All these occupy space. So now we can understand the concept of class, which is a template, which is a classification, which help us in creating Actual objects which are physical objects which occupy space. In our case, it occupies space in the memory, in the RAM. So why class is needed? It helps us in creating object from it. We create object from it. It is a guideline to create an object. This could be a guideline for a person, this could be a guideline for an engineer, but for a programmer or for a compiler, this is guideline how to create an object, what type of object it need to create. Yeah, so it helps in creating object from it. It's a guideline to create an object. We can create as many object as we want, subject to memory space. If we have a memory space, we can create infinite objects based on the memory space. Why objects? We can store information, or we can group relevant information together like name, roll number, class, and teacher name. So this is all relevant information. We can group them together. Grouping mean maybe creating a student class which will hold all these attributes and perform relevant action. A student can enroll or give exam or take exam or something like that. All these are different behaviors. So object creation, how we create object, like this is the class. Here we are creating object with new animal. This will create an object in the memory space and give us the reference that points to that location. With the reference we can fill that memory space and we can invoke different functions or method or behavior. So speak is a behavior or speak is an action or a method. Similarly, we can create another object in the memory with the reference, and using the reference we can fill out all the fields, and then we can invoke the behavior or method. So thank you so much. That's it for today. Please subscribe and share with your friends. Sharing will help others as well. If you have any question, any doubt, please ask in comment below. Thank you. Take care. Bye.